Hello, welcome back to Teny Talks. Welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are doing great. On today's video, I'm going to be talking about my name. We're going to be talking about how I've come to love it, how I've come to own it, and just the struggles I've had with it, pronunciation, all that good stuff. So my name is Nee-mosh Teny, Nyamuoch, Nemo, and I'm going to explain how I've come to, how I got my nickname, where it originates from, what it means, all that good stuff. And the reason I'm putting out this video is because for such a long time growing up, I struggled with being confident depending on who I was around. So for example, in Noor, it's pronounced Nyamuoch. So when I'm around any Sudanese person, my Noor people, it's Nyamuoch. Like, it is what it is. But when I'm around other people that don't know the language, it's Nee-mosh. And the reason because, those are both my names. It's both correct. It's okay. It's okay. One thing though, growing up, is whenever I was around like my cousins or whatever, my family, and somebody outside of that comes and calls me Nee-mosh, they'd always be like, yo, what? Like, that's not her name. And I'm out here like, oh shoot, this is two different worlds. This is not okay. But then when I'm with like my friends or whatever it is, and like my cousin or somebody foreign, or like my mom comes to school and she's like, Nyamuoch, like just screams it, and kids are looking at me like, that's not your name, why is she saying it like that? And I'm like, that's how you pronounce it in my language. I was always being made fun of by either my own people, because people are calling me Nee-mosh, or by my other worlds, the rest of the worlds that would call me Nee-mosh. It's funny because like I was talking to a good friend of mine a few weeks ago about it, and I was explaining to her, I'm like, yo, like, my name is not pronounced Nee-mosh, right? Like in my language, it's pronounced Nyamuoch. And she's like, and then I told her to repeat back to me. I kid you not, I'm like, Nyamuoch. She's like, Nee-mosh. I'm like, huh? And I kind of went through it with her, and I don't know, I don't even think I'll be going through it with you guys, but so that's kind of like the gist of my name. And then when I was younger, I remember like an old neighbor of mine, I kid you not, I was probably like 6 years old. He started calling me Nemo. He's like, ooh, I'm gonna call you Nemo. And Nemo stuck, and I hated it. I'm like, okay, I'm already struggling with the pronunciation in my language, and then people outside of that, like, I was like, no, like, Nemo, what the heck is that? Like, we're adding a whole nother freaking nickname to me. I already have too much to deal with my name. So I didn't like it growing up, but he always called me it, whatever. And like when I was growing up, it kind of died off. But then when I got to high school, my high school coach, oh my gosh, he was like, oh, I have a perfect nickname for you. I'm gonna call you Nemo. I'm like, he's like, isn't that so original? I'm like, yeah. Oh my gosh. So it came back, but again, I still hated it. I did not enjoy it, and everybody called me Nee-mosh still in high school, and which that's how it should have been. That's how I liked it. But then when I got to university, I kid you not, I went to I think it was like my first party or whatever, and I remember somebody asked me like, oh, what's your name? I was like, let's see what happens. I was like, Nyamuoch. And they're like, what? I'm like, Nee-mosh. And they're like, what? I'm like, Nemo. And they're like, oh, say a word, it's Nemo, that's tough. I'm like, really? Because Nemo was such an easy, memorable name, I just kind of went with that throughout university. So everybody just called me Nemo. I feel like everybody knew me before university knows my full name, Nee-mosh, but then when I went to university, it's Nemo. Like, I don't think people know what my real name is if I met you in university in the last few years. Yeah, so it's Nee-mosh Teny, but so when I got there, I was like, okay, whatever. But then after, like, especially this year, in the last few years, I'm like, guys, like, Nemo's cool, but you don't even know my real name. And I was kind of cool, like, I kind of liked that, and I still do. Like, the people that call me Nemo, I love, like, call me that, don't change now. Nee-mosh, same thing, cool. Nyamuoch, like, if my family starts calling me Nee-mosh, I'm like, no, like, I like Nyamuoch, I like my name. But then it's all about pronunciation too, because I find that even if like I try to explain to people how to pronounce it in my in my language, they'll butcher it, so I don't. And that's why I like Nee-mosh. Nee-mosh is cute. I'm Nee-mosh. I also love Nemo, and I've become like, it's like my alter ego kind of. No, not really, but anyway, so I've kind of have like And that's kind of, I think it's gonna be my brand, like Nemo sick. That's me. But yeah, so I also want to explain like where my name originated from. So I'm South Sudanese, and my name means, so the NYA part, it's pronounced, I mean, it's spelled NYAMUOCH. Yes, MUOCH. People always mess that up. People always want to go OU. This is not Canadian language, it's not English. It's not, okay? Don't try to fix it for me. It's not. The way I say is how you say it. So the NYA part in Nur, it means that, just like nya, NYA, it's not naya, it's nya. But that means daughter of, like just it means daughter of or girl, basically. It's just to identify that you are a girl, basically. I don't know, maybe in the old days, like everybody looked alike and couldn't tell the difference. I don't know what it was, but it means daughter of, or like girl of, whatever. So the first part of my name is girl, like daughter of, and then the second part, moj, means to give, like moj, like I don't know, like bajin moj, like give. Yeah, it just means give, honestly. And so my full name means daughter of giving, or like girl that gives, or whatever. For all my nerd people will help me out. I'm pretty sure I'm confident in what I'm saying, but at the same time, you know, I'm struggling a little bit. I'm also really trying to get back and learn Nur, because I kid you not, I'm struggling. I want my kids to speak Nur. I don't care who I end up with, my kids are speaking Nur, which means I have to learn how to speak Nur, because my mother, their grandma, if you met Dickens, Sarah Nyamuoch, hey, you're speaking Nur. It is what it is. Back on track. So my name means daughter of giving, and like my biblical name is completely different. That was the name that was given to me at birth, but I don't know which one of my parents decided to call me Nyamuoch, but whatever, it's stuck. So yeah, it basically, my whole life I've been juggling two worlds, kind of, you know, with my Sudanese Nur people, it's Nyamuoch, and then with everybody else it's Nee-mosh, and I'm like, because nobody can pronounce that, right? And I don't want people trying to pronounce it, because they don't know how to, so don't try. My name is Nee-mosh, yes, Nyamuoch Teny, that's me. Nemo, if that's all you know about me, that's okay, keep it like that. But yeah, honestly, the reason I wanted to put this out was because like I struggled with this for so long, trying to balance out the two, but at the same time, like, and I didn't know what to do, and people would always be like, just tell them how to pronounce it. The same people were telling me to make sure that people pronounce it properly, couldn't even pronounce my name, so, and I identify with not every pronunciation. Don't try to call me, somebody called me Nyombe one time, I'm like, where did you get the B? Where did you? Okay, and a few other stories, like with pronunciation. I remember it was in high school, we had a supply teacher. Every time it gets to mine, I already know like I'm gonna have to go through this, so they usually pause, you know, and usually I'm the only one, because I went to a school, majority like white students, so I always knew they were gonna pause, like there was always a pause during the attendance, and I'm like, oh, that's my turn. So before they even say it, they'd be like, so the like supply teachers would be like, Nina, and I would just, it's Nee-mosh, yep, I'm here, right here. And I remember one professor stopped me. I said, no, it's not. I said, I said, sir, come again? He was like, that's not how you pronounce your name. I'm like, please tell me how I pronounce my name then, please. He was like, no, it's pronounced, he said like Nyamuoch or something. I'm like, sir, that's not how you pronounce my name. Like even in Nur, that's not even how you pronounce my name. And then he's like, no, that's how you pronounce it. And I literally got into a tiff with him. I'm like, bro, how are you gonna tell me how to pronounce my name? I was like, what the heck? And those are the points that piss me off, because I'm like, how is somebody, don't try to tell me how to say my own name. If I tell you my name is Apple, that's my name to you. That's how you're supposed to identify me as. Don't address me by anything but what I tell you to address me as, like, simple. And then even in university, oh my gosh, this one's actually funny. I was in an online class and I answered a question or whatever, responded, and the prof was like, he was trying to pronounce it. He was like, oh, okay, yes, you're right. Yeah, whatever. He was trying to pronounce it. And because I couldn't, like, I didn't want to unmute myself and say how to pronounce it, so I just typed it. I'm like, you can just call me by my nickname, Nemo, right? And he was like, oh, awesome. I'm Nemo. I'm like, N-E-M, Nemo? Okay, wow. Wow. That's when I realized, like, people are always, like, somebody will butcher your name at some point. And it's okay. Just, yes, you should correct them, obviously, right? Sometimes, though, if I don't care enough, I'm not going to correct you because I don't care. Like, I probably won't see you again. But if I do care and I do know I'm gonna talk to you or work with you or whatever it is, yes, fix my name up, right? So for any girls, any males, anyone who has like a tricky name, own it. There are so many hard names. Leonardo DiCaprio, like there's so many hard names that people will figure out how to pronounce. Let people pronounce your name properly. Own that. And even if you have different versions of your name, don't be afraid to own all of them either. It's okay. And I know for my Sudanese girls out there that all have Naya, whatever, don't let people call you Naya. Don't call, like when people say Naya or Naya to me, I'm like, you decided to short form. No. I'm going to give you my name, okay? I will tell you what to call me. You don't call me what you want to call me unless we have a good relationship, okay? First time you meet me, do not call me Naya. Don't do it. But yeah, so for anybody that deals with a tough name or whatever it is, my Sudanese girls out there especially, own your name. Or even if you don't like it, that's okay. If you don't like your name, man, change it. It's you. You're the one that's gonna deal with your name for the rest of your life. If you like it, cool. If you don't like it, change your name.